Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chantele. And we're talking about Survivor South Africa, episode 6.
Woo, yes, we are. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And if you're up for a Patreon, link is below. Join us. But this episode, wow. Oh, it was so heartwarming at moments. It was shocking at moments.
Oh, I know. This is what I love about reality TV is when we just start really caring for these people because they're starting to care for each other. You know what I mean? I'm in their family. I know that they're going to be lifelong friends, like regardless if they're on the same team or tribe or they're enemies or whatnot. Like after it's aired, I'm sure they're all the best of friends. So I love it. I love it.
Right? It's so interesting. It's so lovely to see. It was, especially Chantele and I were talking before we went live, like obviously we are overwhelmed with Big Brother right now. It sort of is all consuming during a Big Brother season, but it was just like a lovely little moment to just have some Survivor South Africa with a cast that loves to share and save each other. It was great. It was great. I have to give a shout out to my Discord patrons because they sent flowers. And I mean, who does that? That was so lovely. And I love that I put them right there. So I just have to do that. I just have to do that. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's start at the top of this episode. Always coming back from tribal. We have two tribes that went to tribal. So first is Zamba, and Santini has a new nemesis.
You must have loved that. She's like, I have a new enemy.
Okay.
Yes. Who's on Santini's hit list now? I want to know.
I thought that was hilarious because I don't think I realized that Nicole was giving off a haha, I'm eating vibe. But I guess she was.
Pina colada. Maybe she got a little bit like loose. I don't know. like pina colada.
I was like, wow, she got on a nemesis list from just like sitting over and eating. Okay, all right. And then Sean, he's mad about that machete.
I mean, I would be mad about the machete. That must be hard to like not have something that you really, really, really need, and it just be gone. So yeah, I get it.
Especially since he mentioned that they have two now on the other tribe, and I was like, oh, that feels extreme. Like you don't need two.
No.
In the world of Survivor.
So many machetes, like they have none.
Now Warda, she is, a little shocked by the Carla vote. She didn't see it coming. She wasn't looped into it. And she is just waiting because she gonna get some revenge is how she's talking right here.
And obviously I love a good revenge story for sure. Go and get your enemies. But I want to support Warda because I wish that she was doing better because I was always like on her side. I don't dislike her at all. Mm-hmm. But you gotta be like, you can't just have like one focus and that's my revenge. It's not beneficial for your game in the long run. So I'm really worried with her only really thinking about revenge. Mm-hmm. It's really completely thwart her whole game, her whole position. Instead of her being like, hey, okay, my allies were taken out. I can pivot though. I can my old people. I can be like, oh my God, like I was like on the wrong side of numbers, but now like here I'm with you guys, I'm with my old Buna or whatever it is. Like, I wish that she was more thinking for herself and instead of revenge because I just don't think it's a winning strategy.
Right. You got to know the difference because sure, we love revenge, but does it still line up with your winning strategy? That is what is important. Now, hopping over to Vuna, Tyson, realizes he saved himself with his idol. Had he not played it, he would have been gone. Bye-bye. But he's
so he was like saying to them at that tribal, like, vote for me, vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. I know that their plans were probably already edged in stone, but were they 100% voting for him? Like, because he told them to. So him being like, oh my God, they all voted for me and I saved myself. I'm just kind of not sure or not they actually were voting for him. And like, he kind of told them to. you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that is confusing. I had forgotten that he was all like this. But he
Yeah.
was still a target, and his
Yeah.
second point here that he is an outcast on the outs is valid. Like at this point, he's like, "Ugh, barely, barely saved myself, and I really don't have a lot of allies here." That
Yeah,
part
and
is true.
he's definitely an outcast, but he did encourage them to vote for him because he knew he had safety with the idol. So
Yeah. Okay, well, we get right to a challenge, and I was like, dang, we are just jumping to it. We are getting right into it. But this is a reward challenge, and Chappie sets us up with a little soundbite that they got Tree Mail talking about diving. He's excited. He says his middle name is Water, his last name is Swim. So Mr. Chappie's Water Swim. He's here and ready to go. Good thing. This is just for some coffee and treats, some pastries and such.
yeah, I mean, obviously they want food. They get food every single week though. So why are they so? They shouldn't be that hungry. Like I don't know. I could have a croissant a day, and I'd be skinny, but I wouldn't be like so famished. So they haven't seemed to be starving because
These
single
guys
they get
are not starving, because we say every week. It's every week to us. It's only like every 3 days to them.
Yeah.
They're getting a great treat every 2 to 3 days. I don't feel like these people are starving at all. But whatever. I don't need people to starve. That's okay. So coffee, tea, and pastries, and rusks, which are some sort of sweetbread, maybe?
I didn't look it up. I was thinking of like a cornbread type thing, like kind of like a dense bread.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like bread, but because it was with pastries, I'm assuming it's some sort of sweet bread,
Or like a scone.
like a banana bread, but not
I felt
banana.
like
I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
I was thinking, I'm like, it's gonna be like a dry scone to me. That's my taste buds were saying about the rusk.
We'll go with that. Well, right off the bat, we've got two people diving into the water. We've got to pick up these puzzle pieces to collect. Then we'll have a puzzle at the end. And we immediately see what appears to be, and maybe we'll get some castaways in the chat who can clarify, but it seems like we have one tribe of swimmers and one tribe that is just not strong in the water, because right away Anella is just floating off with the current and not able to control his motions.
I'm wondering if it's where they were placed for whatever reason. Like maybe there was some sort of because it wasn't like a controlled area. It wasn't like a swimming pool where the water and the undertow is all going to be completely even in every single area, like from one lane to the next. Because someone like Anesu, who's super tiny, like if she weighs 115 pounds, I'd be shocked. And she was able to swim pretty fine. But Anella, who... yes, he's a little bit larger, but like I feel he would have had the power to be able to still swim to shore. So I don't know if it was the quality of being able to be a good swimmer, or if it was where they were placed in the challenge that was making them not an easy time.
Right. Nika was, mentioning a current and a so I was like, wait, is there only a current on this side? Or is this tribe is much stronger swimmers? Lauren, thank you for letting us know. So it sounds like biscotti, like we dip biscotti in coffee in the mornings.
Is it crumbly, or is it like chewy? Or like
he says it's hard. So
crumbly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for that. So Anella is struggling in the water. This is giving Vuna a lead, and it's to the point that they are concerned about him. So Mr. Chappie's water swim, he jumps in there and he says, "Focus up, you got this," and he pulls him in and saves Anella at this point. Then
go ahead.
I was gonna say, because I'm like, oh yay, he's pulling Anella in, and then I see Santony start to dive in, and I was like, oh wait a minute, we already know that she's not strong in the water.
Yeah, it was really scary to see both of them like just use it as a flutter board. I didn't know why it didn't seem like it was that difficult, but it had to have been part of the undertow, because if I have a flutter board or that puzzle piece, I can use it just kick my legs and go to the shore. I just didn't understand why it was so challenging, because they had a flotation device, you know? So it must have been placement in the water and just how the water was moving in that area.
Yeah, no, there had to have been an undertow current.
Kick those legs.
Because, if you are holding on like a boogie board, we call them down here, you hold on to a boogie board and you just kick your legs and you're good to go. But no. So here we are again. Santini is now struggling in the water. Chappies has to jump in and save her. And then at this point, Chappies is just staying in the water and just helping his team at this point. Meanwhile, Vuna's just continues on
doing this. I'm like,
right?
Just treading, because like treading water is so tiring. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was holding on to some of the things, but yeah, he was treading water. Yes, Paul, he was Aquaman straight up in this area. I don't know if this is ocean or lake or what. It was not clear water, not really sure where we were, on the wild coast. Okay, this weather is really moving in though. Like now we've got people shivering on the side. It's raining. It doesn't look ideal.
Freezing. It looks miserable. Yeah. I would be like, can we do this tomorrow? Like, I'm good.
I'm good, Nico. Can we just take a pause and we'll wrap this up tomorrow? I do want to point out that Marisha, when she gets in for Vuna, she like beasts of court. We know she's a beast. She runs up that ramp though, because we've got people slipping on the ramp and stuff. And she's like, no problem. I'm going to just run up this ramp with this thing after I've been swimming. No big deal. And she does go back and do a second one, obviously.
She's so impressive. I want to be as strong as she is. I mean, she probably works towards it, so I don't. But I would like to have her strength, because it just like it's very commanding. Like I like how how she stands and holds herself. It's very good.
I love it. I will not put in half the work that she does for it, but I love it.
Just for a role. Yeah, movie role where you're going to be a survivor and be buff.
Yeah, right. I'll play one on TV. Won't actually go on Survivor, but I'll play one on TV. So the Vuna is now on the puzzle, and we're down to Sean and Chappies, who still need to run out there and dive out there and get puzzle pieces for Zamba. So Chappies goes in, Sean goes in, but then when Chappies comes back, no, I guess Sean went first, because when Chappies comes back, they say Sean is cramping. So Chappies goes right back in and gets the last thing, but Vuna is not getting this puzzle. They are struggling on this puzzle.
Yeah, they originally thought it was going to be cup of tea, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty smart." You know, they have tea and coffee, like a cup of tea. That makes sense. And so when they didn't get it, I was like, "Oh my god, there's actually a chance." I was really hoping that Chappie's like going in there, being the hero, supporting two of his people, going in there 3 times. I was like, I wanted them to come back with a win, like epic. That would have been so epic. I was really rooting for. I was like, don't figure it out. Don't figure it out.
Right. And I thought that's where we were, because people are tagging in and out. No one is getting this puzzle. I was like, Zamba's got more than enough time to, just take the lead and win this. Nico tells us we are an hour in on this challenge, and they are like freezing in the weather. They've already been swimming. I mean, this was a lot for a reward challenge. Again, this is just coffee.
Like, do we need to really care about this, guys?
like, do we need to push them that hard for a reward? I don't know about that.
Especially if they don't have any, secret advantages hidden and stuff like that very often. So there's not that much of a reward, especially since they have been eating, like we've already mentioned. It's like they're not hungry. They don't really care about having a chocolate croissant. Like, not that great for them being out there dehydrated already. So
the sugar that they got from their croissants are just like not going to make up for what they spent in calories on this this challenge. But eventually Rainier is the one who seemingly figures it out because he whispered, "Pick me up," to, I think it was Kieran who was helping him on the puzzle at this point. So they just start plowing through to get those letters in the right place and figure it out. So Vuna does win at this point. And this is when we start our heartwarming moments, because first Nico is like, let's just give a shout out to Chappies. Hello. He got 2 of the puzzle pieces and saved 2 people's lives, and also just like helped his team in general. So we're all like, yay, Chappies. And then Vuna's like, hey, also, we'd like to share our food with Samba.
Yeah, I know it's edited. So did they discuss that, or did Dino just like decide that for the group? Because I was really surprised by it. And I was also surprised that Nico allowed it to happen. My mom looked at me, she was watching the episode with me. She's like, Jeff Probst would never have let that happen.
Nope. Jeff would have been like, no, you absolutely may not give them anything. This is what I love about Nico, though. Like, he has a cute little smile. He sort of like twitches into this little smile, and he's like, yeah, that's wonderful. A little kindness goes a long way. I'm like, these people are so nice. I don't love it. You're right.
So nice. Way nicer
than I would have been like,
sorry, guys.
No.
Like, good job, but we're taking it.
Yeah. Also, Jeff would have been like, when Nicole was like, I don't drink beer, he'd have been like, well, sucks for you. And, you know, Nico's like, what else would you like? Let me help you out. Like, Nico's way nicer than Probst.
Definitely different. When people ask, like, what are the difference? It's like, oh, Nico's kind to the
yeah.
Jeff likes to make them suffer and torture.
Yes, he enjoys it. All right, so as we start to go back to our tribes, we do see how they end up doing this, where they make a little bundle and pick who's going to take it over. And this is a little debate. It ends up Marisha is the one who is assigned this duty, and then Inesu's like, Dino trying to suggest that he should do it.
Oh, I don't mind going. Like, if you need somebody to volunteer, I don't. It could be, It could be me. And she's just like, it won't be you. No.
Yeah, she's like, I'm on to you, Dino. And I think we're all on to you, Dino. We saw you play day one. Mm-hmm.
Dino, day one it's haunting him.
It will do that. We also get here another moment for Chappies. The music is swelling. Chantele, I don't know if you noticed, but the music swelled. And they're like, Chappies is a hero. And they're all talking about how wonderful he is at this moment. And it was really, I was like, wow, this is some really wonderfully heartwarming moments here.
Yeah, I think it was Amy was sitting and like having her confessional, and she's like, you know, I felt like we were talking about an Olympic athlete that like, or something that just like scaled a wall, or I don't know, like it was something super epic that was like on the news or something. Like, yes, I think that it was amazing that he did save 2 people's lives, but how we were presenting it was as if they like saved the world. Like, it was like superhero Chappies.
It was really lovely. I enjoyed it. I mean, that paired with the fact that they shared their food and they returned the machete. Got to add that they did. When they said they were going to share the food, I said out loud, I was like, they only want the machete. They don't care about your food. So I was pleasantly surprised that they remembered to throw that machete in as well, to take it over to them. Definitely. But you know what, guys? I was going to say, it doesn't really matter, because all of a sudden we're going to drop our buffs.
What's happening? I mean, we knew it was happening. We knew it was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen. I was saying always going to be like, there's at least one more swap that was going to happen before merge. Some of the people I've talked to, they said it was going to happen twice. I'm like, twice? That's too many. Once I can see happening. And it is here for us to have mass confusion. I tried to write it down. Who was where, which time? I'm not sure if
I am so they swapped way too early. The first time. That's what threw me. If they were just now swapping for the first time, we would know exactly who was where, who's Zamba strong, Vuna strong, whatever. And now I'm like, what? Who?
Well,
Vuna
it's kind of like
2.0? What?
you have to do like, okay, are they green, green, or orange, green,
Yeah.
green, or the whole configuration, and just to look at it that way, maybe, because it's very confusing.
It is. It is. But okay, they do it in what seems to be purely random. This is something I always keep an eye on real close, is like, is production doing anything here? And I couldn't see any, male versus female, anything like that. It looked purely random. They went up and grabbed off of one tray and were either orange or green. Could you see if it looked?
I didn't see anything. I was kind of like, I was strange that the first four were green, since they were choosing on their own. Like, so I was like, maybe something's happening there. But I'm like, no, they were picking what they wanted to pick. They weren't given or whatever that was. So
right.
I didn't see any funny business. And it seemed like it shook out pretty evenly. It didn't seem like there was more male to female. So I'm surprised it went that way.
I was very surprised, because it does seem like it was random, but we got 3 female, 4 male on Zamba, and then we have 4 female, 3 male on Vuna. Like, that's
like that.
as even as you can get. Yeah, absolutely. So just to run it down, whether this means anything to you guys or not, because we got Tyson, Dino, Kieran, Keon, Santony, Warda, and Anella on our new Zamba tribe. On our new Vuna, we have Marisha, Amy, Anesu, Sean, Renier, Chappies, Nicole. The only thing that really stood out to me in this mix is Marisha, Amy, Nicole are back together.
Wow. Like, that's really lucky for them. Because, they were so strong in the first few days. And then the other duo that came back together, which I thought was great, was Amy and Renier. So their little secret alliance has an opportunity to do some damage again. So I think what I think I like about this is, instead of everybody just looking to survive, when they come back with their little alliances and where they feel safe and where they have trust, they're going to start playing the game and making moves, not just for survival, but to actually get them to the end and potentially win, because they have somebody just to be going back and forth with. So I think that the level of strategy is going to pick up since this swap.
Right. And yes, Santony and Chappies are separated here, but Santony and Warda are not, and they don't love each other.
I mean, Warda, I know it sucks to feel like you were, you weren't in on the plan. I get that. I wouldn't feel great about it either, but it's the game. So you really have to reel that in and make people not be uncomfortable around you, make people not think that you are really upset by this, and just continue playing. Just don't give people more reasons to want to target you.
Right, right. And then I also noticed that Tyson and Kieran, just because they were very instrumental in the last vote together, they got to stay together. That's another thing I noticed with these teams. All right, so new tribes now have to play for immunity together. And we've got 3-on-3 water basketball. All right.
I mean, not that exciting. They do a lot of these type of challenges in the US versions where they switch up the matchup. So I do like seeing the different, like, okay, 2 men, 1 woman. I wish they went to 5 instead of 3, just so we can see a couple different configurations, but it was okay.
I hear ya. I always get nervous when it's any sort of like contact to contact. We've seen people get really injured in these, so it always makes me really nervous. Oh, do we call it netball? Is that what it is? It's not basketball, it's netball? Okay.
Netball.
So the first round is guys. Oh, what'd you say?
It's not like a basket, I guess, because it all stayed in there. It had like a
net. right at the bottom. Gotcha. So first one is guys versus guys, 3-on-3 guys. And what's interesting here is that Rhaenyra and Anella come together and they say, make it look real as they talk game. And Anella actually says, you better send me at this point.
I didn't see that.
I saw this on my second viewing, so I missed it the first time, but it was in the words. They're wrestling and it said, make it look real. And then Anella says, you better send me or make sure you send me. And I was like,
gave me goosebumps, Sarah. I did not see that. That is amazing. That is so good. Oh, I might have to go back just to see that because maybe I was writing something. I don't know why, how it that, but wow, that's awesome.
Yes, well, I'm glad I watched it a second time and saw that because also I was like, wait, I'm always interested, like, why did they send Anella? Like, why do they send who? But he asked for it. And Rhaenyra was able to make that happen, as we'll get to here later. But in this,
really good guy. He's a good guy. Like
who, Anella? Is that what you said?
Rhaenyra. Like he sent Rhaenyra that she needed it. Sent Anella when he needs it. Like he's holding people's secrets, like a vault. Like he's very good to be working with. So Amy must be so happy to be back in the fold with him because it doesn't seem like people are detecting him as being so good at this game as he actually is, and he has so much information. So he's really, really in the running to win in my books right now.
Yeah, I feel like he's in a good spot because people really do trust him. I don't know if they know how hard he's playing because he hasn't been in a ton of edits, but yeah, the way that he can just like hold on to information, that's key. It's very, very good. Very, very good. So Chappies is able to score here for Vuna. The second round is girls versus girls, and we have 3 each here. And Marisha, I was like, oh, she's going to be amazing at this. Guess what? She is. She makes the net. And then the third time, and so that's another one for Vuna. So Vuna has 2. And then the third time is co-ed, which I thought was interesting. 2 guys and 1 girl.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I do like when they mix it up like that, because it just makes sometimes the guys not as like aggressive. Like I just don't want people to get hurt.
I know.
So when there's usually a woman in the mix, they're just maybe they're not attacking her, but B, they just seem to be a little more gentle.
Yeah, and I always like pay attention to like, does a guy like smack down a girl but no, the 2 girls seem to like stay on each other. There was one point though when Amy gets up and Vorda yanked her arm and just threw her to the ground. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I was like, oh my, Vorda, okay. She just like went.
Vorda's mad. She's coming. She's fighting. Like, I guess it is immunity, so she does not want to go to tribal council, especially since she's been left out for the last couple votes. Like, she's not feeling safe, even though she has the numbers. Like, she's probably like, I don't trust anybody. We need to win this. I don't want to deal with it.
Right. Well, she's not going to win it. Rhaenyra is going to get this score. Vuna, that's 3. Zamba got none. So easily Vuna apparently wins immunity here, but they both get tarps. Nico, so nice.
Is Vuna just going to be a better tribe? Like, are they going to keep on winning? Is that what's going to happen? Because what they have the women, so Nesu, Amy, another woman. There's a third. Oh, and Nicole. Oh, and Marisha. Yeah, they're going to probably keep winning. I think so.
I mean, they've got some good competitors, but I also feel like they just work well together. And the group that's on Zamba, we've seen them not work well together with other people. So yeah. you might have a good point here that Vuna is just going to tear through this.
Yeah, but even get a tarp. What do you mean? Like, what? Make them suffer. Make them suffer.
Yeah, well, they both get tarps? What are we doing here, people? Yeah, this is just like the nicest Survivor episode. Either Probst watched this and was like, I would never. What are you guys doing? And then we get the debate. Vuna, who do we take? Can't hear much about what they're saying, but we hear them say, well, you can send Anella. Anella goes.
So their second watch around, now you're probably like, oh my God, like he got what he wanted. That's so amazing.
He did. Now, how Rhaenyra made that happen, I don't know. I guess everyone, maybe he's really good at subtly suggesting things.
Anella would be on the outs, right, to original Vuna. So especially with what happened with him on the last swap, he was in the minority. So any friendships that he made with his previous swap people, he doesn't really have them there. So I do think he's probably the smarter, I guess, one of the smart choices, because he would have been gone if he didn't do that, or they would have tried to get him out.
Right, they would have. So we have to assume they're trying to save him, or they're just trying to make it harder on the team to figure out someone else. Okay. Yeah. All right. So over on Immunity Island, we see Anella over there. He gets to play cornhole. That's what we call it here. I don't know what they call it.
I was going to. They didn't even have a name for it, or do they throw the beanbags at the hole?
Yeah. Cornhole. It's got cornhole. But it's, of course, got that sand timer. So, and he has to be behind a line, and then he has to go and run and get the ones that don't make it in. And look, I love to play cornhole, but I don't get all 4 in every time.
I'm happy that I thought it was in one set of throws. So I'm happy if it gets in, it's out of circulation. So I was like, okay, there's a chance. But my mom called it. We're watching, and he's like, oh, I play basketball. I'm going to be good at this. And she's like, my mom just looks at me. She's like, he's not getting this. There's no way. If you're saying that you might be good at this, you won't be.
Yeah, unfortunately, he doesn't get it. The advantage he would have won was having an extra vote that he could have saved up until they said the tribal after merge. So that would have been a nice advantage to have, but instead he loses his vote at the next tribal. A no vote.
No vote paper. I mean, he has to take that risk, especially. You want to just make it through each tribal sometimes. We know the anybody but me strategy works. And so if you could be safe this week or this tribal, he can deal with what happens tomorrow and the next day and the next way. So if he's just kind of working 3 days at a time at this point, he can deal with the no vote. And I'm happy that he said he's not telling anybody. Maybe his allies, he said. I was like, no. Nobody is nobody.
No.
Don't tell anybody.
Not a soul.
No vote. And so I'm happy that for the most part, he's keep that to himself.
Yeah, and I think not having a vote is the best disadvantage.
Okay.
Oh. You went out just a smidge there. I think that not having a vote is the best of disadvantages, because we've seen you could get a vote against you. Hello, I don't want that. What if it's going to be close? What if there are going to be other people writing your name down, No big deal. Totally fine. All right.
Nobody knows until after anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So let's check in with Vuna here just quickly to show us that Chappies is so excited. He's running around naked, and we get to see Rhaenyra and Amy reconnect on the down low. Didn't they have a name? I'm sorry.
I don't have it written in this book, but it was undercover or
right. It was something down low, undercover or something. So over on Zamba, let's get into how we're going to vote here. This is interesting. We've got kind of 2 sides here at this Zamba. First off, Dino tells us he's not going to be paranoid.
Is that true? I don't know.
Okay. Well, good then. All right. Warda, she's happy to be back with Kieran and Tyson. She feels good. She's obviously in a better place than she was. Santony.
she's happy she has a numbers advantage, but why is she even idea? We're going to talk about it a little bit more, I'm sure, with the idea of just going against her numbers advantage. Like you just got to sit on revenge for a little bit sometimes. Like the revenge is best served when it also is an advantage for yourself. You know, like winning the game would be the best revenge. You know,
right? That's a good point. Win the game and just be like, mic drop, take that, revenge. But she is talking about how Santony is her target at this point. And then we have what to me was one of the most frustrating moments of this season. First off, Santony is like talking to Tyson, hey, you got me to think. And he's like, wow, thank you is true. That saved me. It was so important. This is a good connecting moment. But then we come to find out, because we've been talking about this. Chat has brought it up. You and I have talked about, well, then is there an idol at the other camp in the same exact spot? Why has no one shown us if they've gotten it? Turns out because they hadn't gotten it.
Because they hadn't looked for it. They didn't look for it. Just check. Just see.
Just check.
I don't know. Let me just do a little look-see.
Look-see. Just a little dig around. Just check it out. No, Tyson's like, oh, cool. So we should just check right here. Okay, let me just go do that real quick.
Oh, here you go. I got an idol. So down my pants.
What? Okay, so Tyson all of a sudden has an idol. Luckily, Kieran and Santony see this, because I think that does take some of the power away here and shares some of the power. But Santony's like, I just assumed. Oh, whoops. I should have looked. Yes.
That's the biggest snafu of the game. I love you, Santony. I love you. I'm still rooting for you. Yes. But this is shocking to me. Shocking. To the point that we had to assume that there wasn't one hidden on the other idol on the other island, because we just assumed that they must have searched everywhere that it could possibly be, just in case. So
right. And so many people had this information because it went from Santony to Chappie's to, I believe, Paul was the one who told Tyson, right?
Yeah.
Like, so that means Santony, Chappie's, and Paul did not look.
I'm surprised Chappie's didn't look, because wasn't the point of befriending Santony was to get information from Island of the Idols, and with that would have been that clue that he knew all about. So why didn't he? I thought he would be like maybe sneaky and go look and get the idol himself and just be like, just don't say anything about it. That's what I thought was going to be happening.
Yes, agreed. I could not believe what I was watching in this moment. And yeah, if I were Santony, I would have jumped on top of Tyson and helped him dig.
The problem is, though, Santony didn't know exactly where it would have been. So like just like the confidence that Tyson had when he just went to look, because he just went, oh, let me just go see if it's right here. And then all of a sudden there's an idol in his hand and he puts it down his pants. So I don't think that she could have stopped him, because she didn't know where it would be specifically, because she never found one already.
Well, that's true. But we did hear Tyson, like, he talked it out. He was like, and then 3, 1, 2, 3 over. Like, he still stepped through it, which she should have that in her head. Maybe she forgot. But yeah, you're right.
Clock him and like, idol, like
she's like, oh, right here, let me dig with you. Yes. And then you grab it first is what I would have done. But she does have this one in the back of her brain. She already has one. So I think she isn't jumping on these things, because I think she has like that reserve net maybe is why. But yeah, again, like, wow, here we are. Well, Tyson, you guys, has an idol again
from Santony.
Look at that. Well, as we talk here about targets, Kieran is the one that says, Santony's really in with Chappie's. If we let her stay and merge back with Chappie's, we know they're going to pair back up. And that's a solid point, Kieran. That is a solid point. So his vote, he thinks they should take out Santony.
And I was like, no, guys, like, I get it. I see that she's a flip-flopper and how that's just, it's difficult to trust, but I really didn't want her to be going out right after she basically gave you a second idol. Like, it just was just too savage for me. I was like, no. No. I said no.
I thought it was interesting because, again, on my second time watching it, you just notice more things. But like when Tyson dug up this idol, Santini says, all right, now you can't turn on me. Don't turn on me now. And
Like,
she pinky swears with Tyson. And then she reaches over and pinky swears with Kieran. And Kieran makes a face that I like doubled over about. Kieran was like that when he was like not looking at her. He's like, as he like, I was like, oh yeah, oh I see. Okay, Kieran's already like the wheels are churning. He's like, I'm coming for you, girl.
this isn't real. My fingers are crossed behind my back.
Yeah, right. So they do. They just discuss this at this point, and they loop in Dino, and of course Dino's like,
Yes.
great, love it. Not me.
It's like, at this point, there's nobody it's a good person to go for me. I really am enjoying everybody. It's just, I'm going to be sad as the numbers start really dwindling down, because maybe there's two people that I could be like, okay, thank you for your time here. But everybody else, Dino, I don't want Dino to be potentially in the mix here, because I know. That's an easy vote. I don't want Santoni to be gone.
I know. We're already here. We're not even to merge, and we're already like, oh no, they have to go. You know, when you see, oh, it's either going to be Dino or Santini, I'm like, no, I want both of them to stay. It's too early. It's too early for this. We are in trouble.
Well, actually, it's kind of merge time. So, like,
Let's
can't we
get
have a
there.
merge, like, next episode, or like have like two tribes be on the same camp, or I don't know, something. But
Yeah,
I merge to happen.
yeah, I feel it. I feel it next week. I feel it coming. I don't know. Maybe not, because the tease actually makes me think we're not going to get it. I don't know. Okay, so we're still at Zamba, but it's the next day. Tyson has slept on it, and he's seeing things differently. He thinks Dino is more risky because of the numbers, purely the numbers. Anella's going to come back to this camp, and if we take out Santini, then we don't have a numbers majority.
And this is smart. It is smart, Tyson. Like, because, like, if you haven't he's been on the bottom so much. Like, why do you want it to be 3-3? And who knows what's going to happen with, like, Immunity Island? Are they going to get something that's going to mess up the 3-3 and you lose the advantage? They get an extra vote, or what? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, if you know that Santoni is going to vote with you, like, at this point, it's too early to take her out because you need her. It's facts.
It's true. The numbers don't lie. You know, this is just really good information here. And, you know, Dino is not necessarily great for their game either. So it's not like they're losing someone they do want to work with or try to work something out. You know, you might still want to get Santini out down the road. I bet you won't. But you know, at this point, yeah, keep your numbers. And I think it's such a logical argument that it even convinces Warda, who, like you said, you know, she's out for revenge. But girl, you got to just think about your game here for a second.
Exactly. And I was frustrated with Warda kind of having some pushback, but I'm happy that she had in her confessional, she was like, he makes a good point. The numbers, as you say, don't lie. So I'm happy that she's starting to think strategically as opposed to just emotionally with her revenge tour.
This is such a good point, Antonio. I was like, why is Keon's name not coming up at all? Like, why was it Dino and not Keon?
She talked in the tribal, didn't she? Yeah, she did. I was like, oh, that's what she sounds like.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's still there. I saw her on camera a couple times. Like twice. But why wasn't she why was it Dino and not her?
I'm thinking because Dino has probably has a reputation of being a big gamer. Any of those little things that happened in the beginning of the first 3 days, if anybody on his tribe, I'm sure that was topic of conversation at some point.
Right.
So I think they just trust him at least, know he could do the most the longer that he's in there. I think somebody said when they were voting him out that, like, if you stayed in here any longer, you'd be winning this game. So I think that they just feared him.
Right. Yeah. I think that was Karen who said that maybe, but I mean, yeah, it's a good point. I think Dino is a really good player. We like him. So keeping him in the game is just dangerous. You definitely don't want him at merge. He is aligned with other people who don't work with you. So as we go to tribal here, though, we don't know which way Warda is going to go. Is she going to go revenge? Is she going to go with the numbers? So going into tribal, I'm trying to figure out where the vote is. And I can't tell you because we just have a fight between Warda and Anella. And I'm like, well, it's neither of you guys going. So what are we doing here?
I was shocked by that fight, and I was happy with how well Anella kept his grounds with like what he was presenting back. It's like, you kind of started this whole thing, and I just let you know that I wasn't willing to work with you anymore because I didn't appreciate whatever she had done. And so I liked that he was very clear, and she didn't really have anything to say, but after that, but at one point she's, what was the line? I feel like you're low-key accusing me. Yeah. She's like, it's not low-key, I am accusing you. I was like, oh, okay. Accusing me.
I was like, I'm all for big performances at tribal if they are helping the vote. But I was like, this has nothing to do with the vote. You're just showing that you guys do not get along and will not work together. That is all we are seeing right here.
He clapped back. Anella. Yes.
That was bonkers. And we're talking about a Paul vote, which was 1,000 years ago, and a Carla vote. Well, I guess the Carla was more recent, but what? Okay. Anyway, also we're talking about controlling the flow, suggesting the flow. We're just talking game stuff, but in no way do I know which way the vote is going at this point.
And so I was so worried as well because Santoni was like before in like her confessional, and she's like, I'm going to follow my gut. I'm like, Santoni, if that gut doesn't tell you to use that veto, use it anyways. Like, I just was really worried for her because Warda, especially in the tribal, was not acting like she's friends with Santoni and that she was immediately on the chopping block with her. So I wouldn't have felt safe. I would be using the idol at that tribal no matter what. Right.
Yes, this was actually very exciting to me because I was like, is she going to play the idol? And where the heck is this idol?
I was like, did she grab it? Like, I'm like, did I miss her grabbing it?
Well, after the votes, Nico does his thing. If this would be the time to use an idol, she literally raised her hand like she was in school. She was like, my turn, me, just 1 second. She got up and went directly to it. She had obviously scouted it in a previous tribal. She knew exactly where it was. She walked right over to it, got it. And she made a good point of like, better to play it wrong, play it badly, than to
go home with it,
walk with it in your pocket. I mean, that's the point. That is it.
I mean, I want her to obviously have the idol as protection, and I also wanted Warda to have.
Wait, did you say veto? I missed it if you did. We're so in Big Brother if you said it. That's hilarious. I missed it.
Veto a vote. Yeah. I don't know. Sorry, guys. Sorry. You know that we love everybody in all these shows. So they get kind of entwined.
I have said, what do I say? Evicted all the time in Survivor, and it's obviously
you're
not being evicted.
Get your flame snuffed. Like, what do you say? Voted out, I guess.
Voted. I guess I'm supposed to say voted out, but I often say evicted. But anyway, I loved this moment. We've been waiting for this moment. When is she going to use it? She gets to grab it from tribal. I mean, it was beautiful. It was great.
definitely a nice moment. I'm happy that like we finally get to see how it was going to be played out. I really wish that Warda had voted for Santoni because I wanted Santoni to know that Warda is not on her side. I don't want her to be convinced in any sort of way that they're working together. I need her to keep her. I feel like she will because Santoni is quite sharp with what's going on around camp. So hopefully she knows that Warda is not her friend, but we'll see what happens.
Right. Well, we get our votes, and we do see the first two are Santoni votes, but we're pretty sure she's going to get 2. So that doesn't tell me anything at this point. Then the next one is Dino, and immediately Dino puts his head in his hands because he knows Santoni has played an idol. None of these votes count. And then, but he does end up getting 4 votes. So that does mean, like you just said, Warda did flip over. She listened to reason. She did not vote for revenge. She voted out Dino, and out he goes. Sad.
I didn't want him to go. It was a sad, sad tribal. But between him and Santoni, I would rather Santoni stay.
Yeah, I mean, he is legitimately a super fan. And so, you know, it's always tough when a super fan leaves. But, you know, this, I think, honestly, it was the swap. Had they not swapped, he probably would have been just fine.
Yep, swap screwed. And also, though, I know that they said that, like, hey, we're keeping you, we're voting out Santoni. Like, I wish he tried a little bit harder to, like, propose something. Because if he was like, hey, like, even if he, like, yes, so because we're all going to vote for Santoni, like, let's, like, work together. Let's make a new plan. Like, what are we going to do for the weeks further? And start getting in with the conversation of, like, strategy. And so he just kind of accepted what they said, where the vote was going. And we weren't shown him even trying to work with them or save himself in the future. So I think that he could have done a little bit more work.
Right. Yeah. Keon definitely not in the loop, no one's talking to her. Not sure how Anella's gonna come in and work with who. Not sure about that, but I'm sorry, say again?
I'm sure they will send him again if they have that chance to Immunity Island. So I think that he might be okay unless they even win. So I don't want Anella to go anywhere either. And sorry, Keon, I have not seen you in this entire show, so I don't have any with you.
I'm so sorry. I'm sure you're lovely, but we have not barely gotten to know you at all. So yeah, Keon is one of those that's like, okay, if she goes, I don't know you. But in the preview, we do hear a little soundbite from Chappies saying, if we lose, I'm jumping ship. So that sounds like might be using that bracelet because we all know merge is coming. So if it is not this week, this is his last time to use it. And who's the other person with the bracelet? Is it Sean?
Jason. Jason got voted out already.
So it's only Chappies. Okay. So Chappies might use that. That would be very exciting to see just for fun.
Yes. Well, then he'd be bouncing over to that tribe. So it would be him, Tyson, Warda, Santoni, and
Kieran.
Yeah, it'd be a great move for him.
Yeah, he'd be totally fine over there. That will be very interesting to see if we get to see that. So that is our episode 6. Swap screwed, guys. Swap screwed.
I hate that, though. I mean, okay, I know the shakeups happen. I know we need to expect these things to keep the attention of the audience. I know that we need to have these swaps, whatever. But I hate it so much when people are in such good positions where the swap actually just tanks their entire game.
Yeah.
That's one thing I dislike about Big Brother, that it's always just a numbers thing for the most part. And then if you find an idol, you can maybe get yourself out of this. The difference with that in Big Brother, it's like at least you have opportunities to kind of like strategically get yourself out of a bind. And so you can't get yourself out of a bind strategically in Survivor if the numbers are so blatant and people are really tight. So I'm sorry, Dino.
Well, I mean, you could if you truly knew you were in trouble, maybe you can come up with a Hail Mary. Maybe you can, put it all on Keon. Like, I don't know, like maybe you can come up with a lie. You haven't even been working with these people. You could say like, Keon is so close to so-and-so, like they're a duo that we have to worry about. I mean, you could try. I'm not saying it's going to work, because you're right. Numbers are numbers. But I don't think Dino really fully knew he was in that much trouble, He thought he was okay. Shafika, I'm not aware of any limit on who can go to Immunity Island that hasn't been brought up in the show. Chantele, have you heard?
I haven't heard anything. I would think that it wouldn't matter, because it could be strategy for you to send the same person, so not everybody had an idea of what was going on Immunity Island. So you can kind of isolate that information as best as you can. So I feel like it's not something that they do.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, send the same person every week. Thank you for the super chat, and you're welcome. In case anyone doesn't know, I watch Survivor South Africa on Twitch on Fridays. If you ever want to join me, my Twitch is the Sarah Atwood. I watch a lot of shows over there, but Survivor South Africa is one of them. So feel free to watch with me on Fridays. We do it together. So next week, probably not a merge, but maybe a merge. Maybe an immunity bracelet being used. Yes. Yes. Love it. Absolutely love it. And also, Chantele and I are very busy with Big Brother stuff, so hopefully you guys are already subscribed if you are Big Brother fans. That's all I got about that.
Have you done your recap today for the feeds?
No, I don't do them on the weekends. I don't do Saturday and Sunday recaps. I save it for Mondays, and I do like a weekend review on Mondays, because I need just a little break, guys.
And do you know when? Sorry, guys, but do you know when the veto is going to be? Actually, the competition, has it already happened, or is that tomorrow?
It's happening right now. Yeah, feeds went down 2 hours ago for playing the veto. And then the ceremony will be on Monday, like usual. So all tonight and tomorrow, they'll all be a mess again. And we'll see what ends up, because this whole week already, it's only been, 4 days? 3-4 days? Holy moly.
We're in it, though. I love it. I love that this summer we have all the different types of reality TV that I love. So it's been 2021 summer is awesome. I'm so happy to be doing Survivor South Africa with you on Saturdays, because it's just like a nice break. It's a nice change. Yeah. Even though I still have Big Brother vocabulary in my mouth, I'm loving covering the show. So.
Yeah. Just get used to it. We are going to swap all of our vocabulary on all the shows. And you're doing recaps with Taryn in the mornings.
Not every morning, but the next time I'll be on will be Wednesday morning. So I'll be doing a Wednesday recap with Taryn. I'm going live after the episode on my channel.
Yes.
Usually Tuesday, but this week Monday after the episode.
Nice.
And every day in the afternoon, I'm doing Love Island US and UK. Why am I doing this?
Girl, see, you do need a break. You need a break more than I do. You gotta.
It's kind of my break though, because I don't do Love Island doesn't come on Saturdays, so I'm free in the afternoon. But I'm going to be with Josh from Couch to Potato Queens. We're going to do a week of feeds update. I don't know how that's going to work. We're going to have to maybe categorize it or something, because there has just been so many back and forth. Maybe we're just going to show the
high level. Yeah, high level points. Don't get into the details. Are just oh my god, they change every hour. Yeah,
pictures. That's all I'm going to be doing.
We got a cute new group called the Sirens today.
I saw that.
Tiffany, Azza, Claire, and Brittany.
Yeah.
Yes. Interesting. That's awesome. That sounds great. So much for you guys to watch. So much happening.
I'm always listening to somebody and like, oh, Dolores, hi, Dolores. Yeah, I'm always listening or talking on one of these shows or one of these channels.
Yes, that's the way we like it. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us live in the chat. We really appreciate your thoughts and your insights. And if you are joining us later, leave us a comment. Let us know how you feel about all of these swaps. How do you feel about Dino leaving? Oh my gosh. And is the merge ever going to come? How about that?
I want the merge so badly.
It's coming. It's coming.
Be a good group of people for the merge.
Yeah. All right, you guys, we'll see you next time. Bye.